Welcome back to the Rugby Oaks. My name's Matt and George. Let's dive into it.
What a game. The ultimate rivals, the biggest competitors in World Rugby, New Zealand, South Africa. They matched up in Joburg and it was a game for the ages. Oh my gosh. My heart can't take it. I know there's lots of history between these two teams, but, and we can dive into that at another point, but my lord, I can't. I need to go see the doctor.
It was an absolute humdinger of a match. One that we expect from South Africa and New Zealand, certainly in recent history. If you take away the lapse in Mount Smart and potentially the game at Twickenham and as little outliers, the last like 8 or 9 games have been decided within, I think, one to 5 points. So we knew it was going to be tight. We knew all the pressure was on the box. The box, this team that's absolutely flying. The media, we're the darlings of the media for the first time ever. Like, this is not our comfort zone. We are underdogs and we're there to prove people wrong. Now everyone's gone. They're throwing that pressure onto us. And it showed. It showed, George. It took us, it took us 70 minutes to get to take the lead for the first time. 68 minutes to take the lead. 69 minutes.
But
Absolute humdinger.
listen, credit to New Zealand. They came out. They played a hell of a game. Oh my gosh, they just kept on pulling away. Like there was a moment, I think at that just before the 70-minute point where we finally went over where I thought, this is it, game over, and that's terrible. As a South African, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but we fought
We've
back.
been there before, George. We've been there before where the All Blacks just out of nowhere score a couple of quick tries and pull the game away from us. But let's go into kind of moment by moment, hot takes. We recording this exactly after the full-time whistle. But let's start off with New Zealand's start to the match. I mean, what an exceptional just 10 minutes. We know New Zealand come at us and they try and hit us in the face for that first 10 minutes. And there's that kind of thought of like, if you can withstand that, then it'll get you nicely a foothold into the game. And it looked like we had for a moment until well, fussy yellow card, new
That's
rule.
his yellow card. New rule, yeah. So he tackled someone and then he was standing sort of right above him and technically he's offside now and he prevented the try by tackling the next guy. It's annoying because it's so new that players will still get used to it and the crowd wouldn't. People don't
Yeah.
know. I was screaming at the TV until I got schooled. I think Owen said it in the studio. I was like, okay, I get
Yeah,
it
but
now.
also it's one of those things that you used to celebrate as this athletic feat of like taking one tackle,
Yeah.
jumping onto the next, putting your body on the line. But led to a maul try with Taylor going over in the I'm just looking at the stats here in the 6th minute. Mackenzie knocked it over quite easily, and it took us another 10 minutes to really find our footing in the match. We started throwing at about the 12-13 minute. We started throwing the ball around. We started showing what this new attack, this New Zealand style attack, if for want of a better word, can do. But then the old faithful maul try to Bongi Manambi.
Yeah, which I do feel the Kiwis were hard done by there because that was a knock on.
Yeah, it looked like a knock on. It looked like a knock on, and then to make it kind of worse, Sasha ran out
Oh,
of
the
time
kick.
on the clock. Don't know if you noticed, George. I was screaming at the TV when Mackenzie took his first kick because there was double zeros on there. I don't know why I'm doing that, but there was double zeros on there on the clock for probably 3 seconds to my count. Whether the stadium clock was different, I don't know, but it was definitely correct when Sasha was taking his kick. So I guess a little give and take there, but to be honest, the referee, the Irish referee, what was it? Pierce was his name, and was it Andrew? Oh, who? I saw him. I was like, oh, this guy again. He lived up to expectations. Quite frankly, we don't want to ref bash on here, but realistically, he has a job to do, and you should be able to review his job. I thought he was pretty poor to both sides. Bongi and Umbanambi try. The Kiwis were all over the ball for so long until they finally got a penalty. A yellow card in the what was it? the
Back end of
70th
the
minute,
yeah,
to help
68th minute or
us
something.
obviously get across the line. But that was, I think I saw a stat at one point, they were like 12 penalties deep. Like it was terrible. There was a Peter Steph Toy incident as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it wasn't mentioned, but he got headbutted, like cleared out at a ruck. I mean, like kind of what he did to the French guy back in the day, a few years ago. And he just went, oof, I know, ref! And then just carried on playing because he's
Yeah.
Peter Steph Toy. He's going to get up and murder you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a. I've never seen so many players off their feet at a ruck. The
I
Kiwis got away with
know.
murder there. So the ref, look,
Yeah,
we
and
aren't
then
don't want a ref bash.
no, also, but against if you go looking from a New Zealand side, there were a couple of scrum decisions that he made. That first scrum penalty that we won. Look, I think it was them coming back, but also we had knees on the ground. You had the scrum where we got a reset, but we were getting pushed up and back, and the ball was flying back in. I mean,
Yeah.
this was, to me, it was just a little bit out of their depth. Maybe it was an Irish guy who hates the Kiwis and the Bokke just as much, and just thought he'll do whatever he wants. But despite that fantastic rest of the match, Bongi try, Sasha Feinberg, Mngomezulu. Let's talk a little bit about Sasha Feinberg, Mngomezulu, SFM. George, this guy's our
SFM.
number 10 now. No matter what we were thinking a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he has now passed the test. The acid test is New Zealand. 60-meter kick. Yes, we know it's Ellis Park, but 60-meter kick. And he was like, yo, ref, I'll take it. I'll take it. He was a little passionate, more passionate than we've seen. Maybe just needs to breathe a little bit more with some of those kicks to the line where he was shouting at that
I
linesman
saw
quite
that.
a few times. But what a game from the youngster.
Oh man, he looked so good. He looked in like what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't look out of place. That's what I'm trying to
No,
say. He looked that's his spot. I'm here. How's it, South Africa? I am your new Bok fly half. Andre Pollard, I love you. It was actually great having him at 12 as well. Sort of maybe helps calm Sasha down. But my goodness gracious, this kid has got a bright future.
This kid's the real deal, George. And I heard a Kiwi, I think I might even Justin Marshall talking. It was one of the podcasts when they were just saying the depth we have is insane at number 10. And it's something that South Africa has struggled with massively. You've got Andre Pollard, you've got SFM, and you've got Mani Lebok, and you've got a couple of youngsters coming up, Jordan Hendricks,
Yeah.
etc. This is something we're not used to. And actually, everyone's like, oh, Andre's done, Mani's done. No. In a test match year, you need options, and that's been our failings before. So I'm really, really excited about that. But frustratingly, straight after the classic Springboks, straight after we do this amazing penalty, we give away a try to Caleb Clark, who had an outstanding game. He had a brace of tries. He was probably the weakest wing coming into this because the whole idea was we'll bring Talea off the bench. Talea is probably a better starting wing,
Yeah.
in my opinion, but probably in most opinion. Caleb Clark I really like as a player, but boy, didn't he prove the doubters wrong.
He did. He was solid. He's a little bit like a John Alomu, Julian Surveyor, strong, big legs, fast, doesn't take any shit. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think Talea is a weaker wing. I think when he looks like not sure when the ball's coming to him, his eyes. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm probably going to
Maybe.
get told to
But
get
he's got
stuck.
those dancing feet. He's got that excitement.
Yeah.
You've got Will Jordan there. I was surprised that Caleb Clark was taken off and Will Jordan stayed on. Because Will Jordan, well, mate, 33 off 33. Well, you're now 34 and only 33 tries. So take that. If
Shame they
that's
took
something to
out
brag
Cody
about.
Arendse.
They took out Curtly Arendse. Look, Curtly Arendse tackled on the wrong side. That is what it is. But yeah, look, we'll move on. That then led to we had another penalty. Sasha, I think it was off the scrum actually, at bringing it to 11-12 at half time. Numbers we quite like as fans. Maybe it was an omen. Other way around, 2023. But 11-12 comfortable number for us at half time. And actually, the half swung quite a bit. And I thought we were quite lucky to go in there, 1 point behind.
Well, you say that. They were lucky to go in a point lead. Blackadder was off his feet at that last ruck, completely off his feet, and disrupted the ball from Kobus Reinach. That it might not have been a yellow card, but that is a penalty. We kick for poles. It's now 14-12 at the half. I think that's another point back to our Irish mate. That was terrible.
Todd Blackadder had a fantastic game of rugby, and before you tell me how illegal everything he did was, that's his job. His job is a disruptor. And I love the way that he just basically pissed us off the whole day because the ref wasn't pinging him. So you know what? That was a little bit like the old days of Richie McCaw, right? Just push that postman Pat, pushing that envelope as far as you can. And you know what? We don't have players that maybe think like that sometimes, and it didn't quite work out for them. But geez, we're not bragging necessarily about us winning today or this amazing feeling, because what an amazing match, could have gone any way. And even if it was the other way around and the scoreline was the opposite, we'd be sitting here talking about what an amazing game of rugby. So this
100%.
This was Scott Robinson coming into a game. That first half, he made those guys go out there and prove that they are All Black material. And hopefully we win the Rugby Championship this year, because in the next 2-3 years, when we're not playing New Zealand at home, that might be difficult to win the Rugby Championship. Let's be honest with it, with the way they're going to get better and better and better.
Yeah, they're a different beast back home. It's not often we beat them when they're there.
Oh yeah,
it's not always often. Yeah, it's not often we beat them at home. But you know what? I think actually pissed them off. I wanted to bring this up earlier. The whole before kickoff, they would have been firing up and angry because they were doing the haka, and the plane came over during the haka, and music started playing and fireworks. And I thought, oh no!
Listen,
and
you blame Emirates.
it.
Blame Emirates. Don't blame us. Blame Emirates. You can't schedule a plane, but you can schedule a haka. So maybe they need to start thinking about what they do when they come to Ellis Park. Well, I said to my wife during that moment, I said, this is a bucket list moment. We have to go to Ellis Park, Springboks, New Zealand, and have that plane fly over our heads. It is absolutely incredible. But wow, what a first half of rugby. George, before we get into the second half of the match, I'm just gonna have to stop. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to stop because you guys haven't subscribed yet. Okay, we're doing this all for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button, drop a comment, drop a like. Let's go. Let's get these numbers up. Come on, thousands of you watching. Pop that subscribe. George, second half. Let's go. 41 minutes. Wow.
We botched it. It was a lapse in concentration. Damien Dunn was looking for Sia Khaleesi, and then Geordie Barrett just went, oh, cheers, I'll take this, mate. And he got reeled, but anyway, try time.
Yeah.
Well played.
So actually, that was poor tactics from the box. Why is Sia Khaleesi all of a sudden our crash ball option at every single line out? Every single line. No, but yes, but we had. It was so obvious what the next pass was going to be because we'd done it every single pass. Damien Delinda had a fantastic first half. One of the best, well, now the best 12 in the world, in my opinion. But Khaleesi is not a natural crash baller. Once in a while, when you catch him off guard and you're running against someone that's a poor match, fantastic. Okay? When you got Geordie Barrett coming up, you could see from a mile away how close they were. That was a poor lapse in judgment, and that was the box sticking to the plan, not looking at what's in front of them, unfortunately. And why are we using Sia Khaleesi as crash ball all the time when you've got Jasper Visser, who Jasper Visser has been sat on ice, or maybe on, I don't even what, on a braai, because the fire up his arse when he came onto that field. George, I'm going to say it. Jasper Visser's best test in a box shirt. Best test in a box shirt.
He was immense. He just smashed people, ran. You could tell he was like, right, you want to give me a stupid red card a few weeks ago, however long ago it was? I'm going to prove to you. And he proved the doubters. I mean, we also may have mentioned in a few previous episodes that maybe shouldn't start.
Yeah.
I'm glad he started. Oh my gosh. But to be
word.
He was so immense. And he can keep that tooth out because keep going, my boy. We'll sort it out after your career. You've got a long
Absolutely. So why is this guy not crash balling at options and then popping Sia in here and there? talking about people who we thought potentially we were not worried about starting, but we thought, maybe Villy, bring him back, settle the boys down. Apelele Fassi. We've talked about his yellow card, but let's talk about his game, George. He was phenomenal. The kick, the catch, the runs, he tore them apart.
He was the weekend special through and through. Yes, like you said, forget the yellow card. Everything other than that was so good. So good. He had the moment where he busted through and he could have passed whatever, and he put a little dink through, and he could have passed it to, I think, Damien on the inside, but Chesney was there, and Chesney's got wheels, and he thought, here we go.
Give us the 50-50s. Give us the 50-50s. Then 90% of the time it pops up for Chesney. Like, how often do Chesney and Kurtley Arnser both had moments where the ball didn't pop up. I can't even say. Kurtley Arnser in the first half, Ches in the second half, and you're like, this always happens. Why it always pops up right into the breadbasket almost? It's like uncanny. But we didn't have that rub this time. That's fine. But we're making those options, and that's pinning the All Blacks back. And you've got a player like Fussies, and now Villy, does he get 100 caps? Is the question, because does he want to play another 2 seasons? Because right now he doesn't come off the bench because you got Andre Pollard, and he's not going to start because I wouldn't change Fussy until he loses that, until he shows us some reason not to pick him.
Yeah. He played, and there was I've chatted to you earlier about this. There's some people who threw a lot of shade our way when we mentioned he should be picked back in against Wales. Yeah. Where you at now, bro? Yeah. Look at this. You're probably out having a dop with Fussy. Anyway, I'll move on.
Listen, that's the joy of the game. But look, it didn't take us much, long to get to pull some stuff back. But it was just like this tug of war, this tussle that always is the All Blacks, and it's why I will have a heart attack one day. Feinberg Ngomazulu at 45 minutes pops one over. McKenzie at 47. Feinberg at 49. The arm wrestle came in. I think the bomb squad came on at 45 minutes. So
I think 43.
43 minutes.
So early.
I think it was early. I think it was deployed slightly early. Look, we won, and it came right, and that probably had a lot to do with altitude. But we've talked about the scrums. We weren't dominating that much. I thought we could have probably pulverized them and maybe a little bit more, tenderized them a little bit more, knowing that their bench sucks. Let's be honest. Their bench was the reason they lost that game. And we pulled something out the bag, but their bench sucks.
And the yellow card.
Yeah, but that was a bench player, right? Okay.
Yeah, true.
And that was a culmination of their starters, so maybe that's unfair to him. And he's got 63 caps. He's probably the one guy you're like, okay, fine. He's good. He's really good, actually. But Bomb Squad, I just have this feeling that, like, the Bomb Squad worked for 6 years. Now it's so predictable that if you've got a team like New Zealand, like Ireland, who have essentially built their team to fight the Bomb Squad. That's, and then these big matches, they've proven they can do that. And the Bomb Squad was nullified to a certain extent. Yes, that last 10 minutes, which we'll talk about, was insane, but I don't think that was due to the Bomb Squad. I think that was because our scrums weren't great, our lineouts weren't great. George, talk us through set pieces. And particularly Malcolm Marx coming on, which is...
Malcolm Marx, you expect him to come on and things to settle. I mean, I say that. Him and Bongi are 6 of one, half a dozen of another. They're some very similar... Well,
that's a lot of eggs.
Yeah, but Bongi pulverizes and softens them up for us, and then Malcolm can come in and pilfer balls and be the magic that he is. But I don't know if it was the occasion or I don't know, but our lineouts in that second half were not very good at all. We were missing them, overthrowing.
Just not what we expect, right? You don't mind one or two issues. Like, look, throughout a game, you have like one, like, okay, it happens. But it felt a bit too much in a game that we were using lineouts a lot, right? So I guess if you look at the 12 lineouts we did, you'll say, look, 3 led to a try, 1 led to penalties, blah, blah, and you'll say overall it was really good, but there were key moments in the midfield, and the problem with playing a team like the All Blacks is midfield scramble mistake is exactly where they love to score tries from.
Yeah. I'm looking at a stat here, and I don't know if we were watching a different game, but it says we had 25 lineouts, and we won 23 of them. No, that can't be right. I feel
So,
like we lost more than 2.
there were a couple of
Anyway.
overthrows, and they were just like unsure. But there were, I mean, there were a bunch, yeah. So maybe that's a harsh statement. Maybe it looked worse at the time. Again, these are hot takes. Thank you, George, for screwing up my segments on the board. But it felt that way. It felt unstable, and maybe that was like the locks coming in and out. One thing I will say, I think Ron Nokia had about 6 or 7 takes. 3 or 4 of them were uncontested. But you still got to take the ball. You still got to take the ball. That will grow his confidence. He certainly didn't look out of place in a box shirt. No. It's those youngsters that were just working, that you're playing against. There were a couple of youngsters on the bench for the Kiwis, but like 1 or 2. In the Springboks team, there were quite a few. And I'm really excited about that. And that's maybe half the reason why we have this depth is because we play the bomb squad so early, so we don't have players who get 2 minutes game time. You know, we have players that all have a match day experience, and that builds up your Grant Williams, who has 14 caps, coming on, and he looked a bit shaky at the start, I must say, but obviously bossing it by the end and really clicking into play. Maybe he needs to go play at the Lions because, geez, what was he? That pace was fantastic, and that's nothing against Sanela Hamba. Before I get that in the comments, but it just felt to me that Russie is just blooding these guys at such good times, and he's trusting them at such good times. It was a shame for Ben Jason Dixon, who came off early, but it allowed Urban to come in.
Yeah.
But moving on, again, Feinberg, 49. So we look at this. So we've got Geordie Barrett scores at 40, 41. We've got Mackenzie knocks it over. We've got Sasha Feinberg, Mangomazulu. I'm going to have to start saying SFM. I'm sorry, Boyki. Penalty. We got at 45, 47, Mackenzie, 49, SFM, 51, Caleb Clark try, his second. And then a chunky bit of time in the context of the match, about 15, 16 minutes before we finally broke through and got that penalty, which led to the yellow card, which led to that first that try by Kwacha. I think it was his 3rd or 4th try against New Zealand. He's racking them up, the boy.
Try scoring machine as well as a ball stealing machine. I've said it time and time again. That guy knows his way over the whitewash. What a champion!
Every time he comes on, I'm just excited. You know, he's gonna make some changes. He played hard. Obviously, SFM knocked it over then, and then it got a little bit twitchy because we were in a 3-point margin. We had 5 minutes to work our way back up to that pitch. A really dynamic play of the way that we didn't go, look, we're going to go to Bok playing. We actually played. We played New Zealand-style rugby against New Zealand the whole game, which was crazy. I'm not comfortable with it, but it was fun to watch. And it led to Grant Williams going over, and actually that, what is his name? Cortez. I mean, not the greatest name.
Well, he's quite highly rated. And some people said that he should have started, but...
Look, I thought Perenera was absolutely fine in the game.
Yeah. He's a bit mouthy.
Cortez, yeah, well, he's a number 9, and he's a Kiwi. So, but I think his name is Cortez. It's something.
Yeah,
it's an odd
he's got a very jazzy name.
Jazzy name, yeah. If you actually look, he actually missed that cover because it was such an obvious. He overplayed it, and Grant ran in, and there was someone else there to cover Grant. So it was poor. Try line management from him. Then there was a missed penalty to take us 7 points ahead, and it was squeaky bum times right till the end, and we kept kicking the ball away and playing, but not kicking it in the old fuff types hit and hope. We were trying to make things happen to the very end, and god damn it, George, it was exciting.
It was, but I need to get some heart medication because honestly, and my neighbors, thank goodness,
I need to start smoking cigarettes or something in there.
No, I'm glad my neighbors were out. I saw them leave this afternoon because they would have been banging on the shut up, because I was screaming, I was shouting, I was a shambles. Those last few minutes is what rugby's all about, baby. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. Well, look, it ended 31-27. Humdinger. It sets up Cape Town next week to be an absolutely unbelievable match. I predicted 1-1 in the series. you could see the All Blacks coming back next week and just really going for it. But then again, you could see the Springboks, Russie's going to put us through it. He's going to change the
team are we gonna
team.
play?
He's going to change the team. What is Russie going to do next? Well, listen, all I can say is stay tuned, because this week we're going to have a lot of Russie tactics and mind games and everything. And Scott Robinson as well. What a legend. You can see how just fuming he was in the commentary box. We forgot to mention, sorry, George, Peter Sefton-Toy, man of the match. Just a classic Peter Sefton-Toy game. Man of the match, out of position, classic. Move on. But he was a massive difference maker. Him and Eben, it was like getting the band back together again from his early days. Them holding each other at lock. I need it. I need it in my life. But stay tuned, guys. Hit that subscribe button. I know we made a little joke earlier, but a lot of you guys are watching. Hit the subscribe button. Keep up to date. We're trying to post a couple of times a week. You won't be bombarded, but you'll get loads of cool stuff. There's some games coming up as well this week. So we'd love you to join us on this journey that is the Rugby Oaks community. And from us, have a good night. And we'll see you next time.